Haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Nun Vav Amud Beis, 12 lines from the top. The Gemara just finished explaining Shitas Rabbi Yehuda that Breira does not work to be Matir Iser. The Gemara brought from Masechet Shkolim that there are kupois, different shoifaros that we use for various karbonos. And it states over there that there's something called kinim, pair birds. And Rabbi Yehuda says we don't have a shofar for kinim choiva. Since the pair birds we require for choiva, one as a chatas and the other one as an oila, it might be confused and mixed together with those kinim, those pair birds that are nidava, that are both oilos. And since an oila bird and a chatas bird are different karbonos, if they got mixed up, it would be poisel. So Gemara asked the simple question, why don't you simply label the two shoifaros? One would be labeled kinim choiva, and the other one kinim nidava, and that will solve the issue. The Gemara says that Rabbi Yehuda does not hold of ksiva. He says that the person will not pay attention to the label, whereby they'll get mixed up. The Gemara then challenged that and said, it says in the Mishnah in Shkolim that there are 13 kupois, and each one is labeled. So you see clearly that Rabbi Yehuda, inside of that Mishnah, does hold of labeling. To which the Gemara explained differently. Why does Rabbi Yehuda say that the kinim choiva might get mixed up with the nadava? Why does he say it's poison? You don't have a kinim choiva. That's not the reason. He says the reason is because a person who sent the choiva, so he died. If he died, then his donation is mixed up with everybody else's in that kupa, in that shofar of kinim, and that will post out everybody else. Ask the Gemara, but why don't we just say breira? Why don't we say that amongst these coins are his, and the value of each chatas bird is 4 zuz? Let's take the 4 zuz and throw it into the yam, which would be the solution. If it was his, if we knew that it was his, that would be a solution. And therefore, now that we don't know it's really his, we'll say breira, and that will then work to be matir the rest of the kupa, the rest of the shofar of kinim. Elamai, says the Gemara, Rabbi Yehuda does now hold of breira, whereby we're left saying that we said before that he does hold of the labeling. And that's what the Gemara says now. V'hasha damrin leRabbi Yehuda ein breira. And now that we say that Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold of breira to be matir the iser, haksiva islay. However, labeling, writing, he does hold would be sufficient to avoid confusion. Then going back to our Mishnah, Yom Kippurim nami ne'avid trev nichtav alayu. Now, when it comes to the 2 bases that the Tanakama says that are used to hold the mizrak hadam, one of the par and then the other one of the soyer, and Rabbi Yehuda argues that there's only one base, there's only one kan zohav. Why? Simply, even Rabbi Yehuda should have 2 and label the 2, and then it won't be confusing. We'll know which one is the par and which is the soyer. If the whole issue of Rabbi Yehuda is that he's worried that there's going to be a confusion of the dam, so therefore, take each one and label each base separately. There won't be a confusion. Even according to Rabbi Yehuda, should agree with the Tanakama that you can go ahead and do the avodah with the two bases. Answers the Gemara, Mishum chulsha de kohen gadol lav adaite. Because of the weakness of the kohen gadol on Yom Kippurim, he won't be able to pay attention, decipher between which kan is for the holding the mizrak hadam of the bull and which is holding the mizrak of the dam of the soyer. And if you don't say this, even without labeling them, you can determine which is the dam of the bull and which is the dam of the he-goat, because the bull's dam is much more than the amount of the he-goat. You'll say maybe he doesn't mekabel all the dam of the bull, and therefore it's more or less the same amount of dam, and therefore he can't decipher between the two. But Rabbi Yehuda teaches is called dam shel par. The one who's sheikh has mekabel all of the dam. Shneimar is in the pasuk. It's called dam apar yishpoich el yisod hamizbeach. So he's mikabel all of the dam of the par, whereby we're saying that the difference in the amount will be then very recognizable. We'll know which one is the par and which was the soyer. But maybe you'll say some of that dam that he was makabel of the par then spilled, whereby again you have more or less the same amount as the he-goat's dam. Gemara answers that's also not going to be a problem to distinguish, because hai chiver v'hai sumak, the blood of the he-goat is somewhat pale. The blood of the bull is very red. So we can distinguish between the two just by the sight. Ela mishum chusha the kohen gadol lavadaita. Rather, the reason you must say is that the kohen gadol anyways is weak and won't decipher between the two bloods. If that's the case, then hochanam mishum chusha the kohen gadol lavadaita. So too when it comes to labeling, one being blood of the par, the other labeling as so'ir, would also not be sufficient, says Rabbi Yehuda, because we're concerned he might not pay attention because of his chusha, his weakness. The Gemara now says the following Maisa in regards to the two bases that we're talking about of putting the dam of the bull and the dam of the he-goat. How denochis kamei de Rav? There was somebody who davened as a shliach tzibur before Rava. Omar Yotza, and the way that the Shlich Tzibur would, when they repeat the Shemona Esrei, they would speak about the procedures that the Kohen Gadol did in the Avodah. So since he went ahead and was speaking about those procedures, he said, Omar Yotza v'hi nichoy al kan sheni shebehechal. He states that the Kohen Gadol went out and he placed the dam, the mizrak of the dam, on the second base of the Heichal. So here it implies, like the Chachamim Shita, that there are two bases, because he placed the dam on the second one. Then he goes on to say, Notal dam par. He takes the dam of the par, V'iniach, which is now presumably in his left hand, V'iniach dam aser, and then places and the dam of the sor, of the he-goat, from his right hand into the base, which implies there's only one base, because he's using his left hand to then take the dam of the par. If it was indeed two, then it shouldn't say that. It should say the opposite order. It should say that he is placing the dam of the sawyer with his right hand, then takes the dam of the par. Omar lei, so Rava corrected him. Chada kirabonon v'chada Rabbi Yehuda. The first statement that you made implies the sheet of the Rabban, that two bases. The second statement that you made implies that there is only one kan, the sheet of Rabbi Yehuda. Gemara says, Eima hiniach dam hasoy v'noto dam apar. Change the second statement to say the reversed order, that he placed the dam hasoyer into the kan, which is the second kan, and he's noto, then he took with his right hand the dam of the par. The Gemara now quotes the Mishnah, V'yiza mimenu ala paroiches keneged arami bachutz, and he sprinkled now the dam on the paroiches, that is opposite the aron from the outside. Says the Gemara, bring the following brayso. Ton Rabbanan. It says in the pasuk, V'chein yaseh la'oil moed, and similarly that which he performed in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Avodas Hadam, that's what he should do in the oil moed, referring to the Heichal. Ask the Gemara, Matamu loimer, why? What is it coming to say when it says V'chein yaseh? It should say V'chein la'oil moed. Why is it V'chein yaseh? And similarly, he shall do in the oil moed in the Heichal. Keshem shemazeh lifnai v'lifnim, the same way that he sprinkles the blood in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, kach mazeh beheichal. That's how he should do so in the Heichal, on the paroiches. Ma lifnai v'lifnim achas lemal v'sheva lemato midam apar kach mazeh beheichal. The same way that he takes the dam of the par and he sprinkles it once above and seven below in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, that's how he should do so in the Heichal against the paroiches. וכשם שלפני לפנים אחת למעלה ושבע למטה מדם הסויר, כך מה זה בהיכל. In the same way that he sprinkles the he-goat's blood inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim, one above and seven below, so too he shall do so in the Heichal by the paroiches. The rest of the pasuk goes on to say, that we quoted before, This is the Seifa Dikra. Ukishem shel lifnai lifni. I'm sorry. Hashochini tam b'toichet tumeos tumosam. And that which, referring to the oil moed, will dwell with them, with Klal Yisrael, in their state of tuma. Afilu, and here the Gemara darshins, afilu b'shah shein tmeim. Even when they are in a state of tuma, Klal Yisrael, shchina imohem. The shchina is with them. Omar le'ahu mina le'Rabbi Chanina. Amin then said to Rabbi Chanina, Tab Nun Zayin Amar Aleph, hashte bori mitmei atoin. Now in Golus, certainly you Klal Yisrael are in a state of tuma. And he brings a pasuk even, the min. It says, Tumaso bishuleha. It's tuma, referring to the dam of Anida, is on her hems, the hems of her dress, of her beged, of her skirt. And that implies that since she has dam nida, she's separated from her husband. So too, the Shechina is separated from Klal Yisrael. Omar lei. So Rabbi Chanina says back to the min, Tochazim maksiv behu. Go out and see what does it say in the pasuk. It says Hashochin itam b'toich tumasam, that in the oil moed is dwelling with them while they are in their state of tuma. Afilu bizman shem tmeim shchina shruya beinehem. Even in a state of tuma, when Klal Yisrael is in a state of tuma, the shchina is dwelling with them. And therefore, even in Galus, it's true that they have the most intimate relationship, just as the Nida doesn't have the most intimate relationship with her husband, but still she's able to then misyached and be alone together with her husband. So too, HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't abandon Klal Yisrael in Galus. Now the Gemara asks, now that we had learned a hekesh, that means to say that we learned from the avodah of the soyer, which was one sprinkling above, to the avodah of the par, one sprinkling above as well. And we also learned the 7 that are stated by the bull below are also learned out as a hekesh to the seir, the he-goat above. The he-goat also below, sorry. To be consistent, we learned one out from the other. Ask the Gemara, once we learn out, again, the he-goat from the bull and the bull from the he-goat in terms of their sprinklings, can we go ahead and go back and melamed and teach another hekesh to learn just as it was performed in the Kodesh HaKadoshim? It will also then be performed similarly in the Heichal? Answers the Gemara, Hi, Heimenu v'dover acher hu v'loi have hekesh. This is referring to a pasuk. As it has a pasuk of even the he-goat and the par, when it talks about the sprinkling of the dam, it says also al and lifnei. So therefore, that itself has the psukim that are stated, that there's the sprinklings above and below, and there's also then the hekesh. So therefore, that's not a problem of learning out a hekesh and choyzim malabi lehekesh, because hai heimenu v'davar acher hu v'loy have a hekesh. Here we have a pasuk and we have a hekesh. So therefore, it's not a problem to learn it out. The Gemara says hanich leman da'omer lo have a hekesh. That's according to one opinion that says that that's not a problem because you have a pasuk. Therefore, it's not going to be in a problem of learning out to another hekesh. But leman da'omer have a hekesh. The other one that says that's still a problem. Ma'ika lemeimar. What are you going to say? Says the Gemara, it says that when it comes to the sprinklings of the he-goat and the bull, those sprinklings and nachanami, those are sprinklings that we're learning out one from the other. That we'll learn a hekesh. He says if that's one type of hekesh, that's one subject of hekesh. But when we then learn another hekesh going from there, from the Kodesh HaKodeshim to the Heichal, that itself is a different subject. So therefore, we could learn out one from the other, and it's not going to be against the principle of davar halami mehekesh choyzim malami mehekesh. Another answer the Gemara brings v'bois ema chutz mibifnim, outside from the inside bechada zimna gomar. It's all learned out with one chada, with together. In other words, here again we can say that the psukim allow us to learn together with the Hekesh. And since over here it's the psukim in both of them, that means to say that we had psukim in both assisting us with the Hekesh. That's in regards to the Hekesh of the sprinkling of the dam. That we had a pasuk that the Gemara says earlier to teach us that. The pasuk stated, "V'osa is doma kasher osa," and here we also have a pasuk to assist the Hekesh that says kashay, that says that we quoted before. V'chein yaseh la'oil moyed. Therefore, it's considered to be chada zimna, whereby we learn it together, and it's not considered to be an infraction on the klal of chidavar halome behekesh chayze umelamed behekesh.